You're listening to the Passionista Podcast, episode number 68. This episode is brought to you by Zalise CBD oil, which I'm obsessed with. If you follow me on Instagram stories, you know that I talk about the benefits of CBD for women a lot. This has helped me totally heal my adrenal fatigue and gut issues and hormone and lack of sleep. And since I've been taking it for over a year now, my endocannabinoid system, which shocker is really important. I didn't know what that was before. But now that it's beginning to heal and awaken, I sleep better. My hormones are balanced. I have a brighter, happier mood. My face, my skin looks better. My libido's up. Heyo. And new result, my period is less intense. So now it's a 3-day easy breezy period where before it was pretty much horrific. So I am a huge fan of Zalise CBD, and you can get your hands on a 7-day supply, 7-day challenge. The link is in the show notes. But without further ado, let's dive in to today's episode. Welcome to the Passionista Podcast, where we believe that passion is everything. I'm Lindsey Nadler, empowerment coach and leader of the Passionista community. Here on the podcast, you'll find inspiring stories of women who've turned their passion into a reality, as well as the best coaching tips and resources so you can do the same and walk out your calling with confidence. All right, Passionista, let's get to it. Well, hello, Passionistas. In today's episode, I am sharing an interview that I did with my girl, Allison Hardy, for her Legacy Mastermind members. This was a special guest opportunity that I had, and we had such a powerful conversation that I knew I had to come share this with you on the podcast. We dive deep into so many crucial topics that are going to help you tremendously in the pursuit of your dreams, growing your business, and being the woman that you know you are truly called to be, which, newsflash, you already are her. You just have to learn to let her out. So in today's episode, I'm talking about how to overcome failure, what that looks like, what that feels like, and why we self-sabotage when we are getting close to that next level version of our lives. I also talk about confidence, how to detach yourself from outcomes in your business, and how to truly own your CEO power. I also introduce a topic that I'm pretty sure I'll record a separate episode on. I touch on it briefly at the end, so you want to be sure that you listen to this episode on repeat in its entirety. And it's this process of high-level hiding. I unpack what that concept looks like and why it is that even when we are high-performing or we are getting things done, we still are not quite showing up authentically and in the way that we know we've been called to do. So today's episode is so power-packed. Be sure that you listen to it, that you screenshot it, that you share it with a friend. And I also want to remind you that the doors to the Passion to Profit Business Academy, my signature group coaching program, open in January. You want to be sure that you visit the link in the show notes to sign up for the waitlist, especially if you are a woman that knows she is ready to take her passion, monetize it online, and truly do work that she loves. I work with a small group of women that are ready to make impact and massive income, and I just truly believe that this next year is going to be your year. So be sure that you sign up for the waitlist. I offer exclusive bonuses and opportunities that nobody else does. You will be the first to learn about it. So without further ado, let's dive into today's episode.
So something that I really admire you for is your work around confidence. And so with confidence comes learning how to deal and cope and move past failure. So you have a pretty strong point of view on this, on like what failure is, what it isn't, and some strategies for kind of coping and dealing with it. So can you walk us through that?
Yes. Okay. So number one, you have to be so firmly rooted in who you are. And for me, I just believe I'm a child of God. And even those circumstances and outcomes, like outcomes of launches and whether someone tells me no, over and over again, I did something scary, I feel like an imposter, whatever the circumstances, you're always going to be it always wants to put your worth in question. When we fail, the reality is we feel bad about it because our worth is attached to an outcome. And so confidence comes from absolutely knowing my worth is settled. My identity is settled. Like I'm loved, I'm chosen, I'm worthy. And I have to truly believe that. I have to truly believe that my worth comes from nothing other than that I'm a human.
That's big. No, that's
that I'm a human, not that I'm a good mom, not that I'm a good wife, not that I'm a 6-figure business owner, not that this launch went great, none of that. And it truly is a skill set to, because we can say we believe all that, we can quote a bunch of stuff like I'm a child of God and like, but you don't believe it.
Yeah.
You don't believe it because we're allowing circumstances to mess with who we believe that we are. So I just believe it's all about identity, number one, and knowing that like all of this does not determine who I am or how worthy I am. So that's number one. And then when it comes to failure, I just believe that failures are lessons. And really the only way that you can fail in entrepreneurship or fail or what in this experiment, this massive experiment that is our businesses, is quitting. The only true failure is quitting. The only true failure is you saying, I refuse to grow, is you saying, I'm going to stay back here. I'm going to stay stuck. I'm going to stay where it's safe. Failure is growth. Failure is lessons. And one thing that I just really believe, and you've probably heard this quote a lot, Allison, I'm sure some of the mastermind ladies has, is what would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail? Like, have you heard that quote?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, they're like, yeah. What would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail? I'm like, what kind of BS is that?
It's so fluffy.
That is crazy. No, let's reframe it. What would you do even if you failed over and over and over again? That's when you know you're called. That's when you know you're walking out what you've been called to walk out, because this gig isn't for everybody. This takes grit. This takes growth. This is why 80% of the population are not entrepreneurs. That we chose this stuff.
And it's slightly crazy. Like, let's be honest here. It's really freaking hard. And if we wanted to play it safe, we'd be in a 9-to-5.
Exactly. Like we chose this. And so you have to look at this and go, no, I'm willing to get up. I'm willing to go back to the drawing board. I'm willing to go, okay, that worked. That didn't. Lesson learned. I'm moving forward. So I really teach something called fast failure and failing forward, which I'm sure is a concept a lot of people have heard of, but it's just that. It's taking the time to, number one, if you want to be sad, be sad. If it didn't work out, if your launch flopped, if whatever, you cry, turn on your music,
have a good cry fest,
put your snuggie on, put your black hooded sweater on, get all emo, whatever, cry, do your thing. But then we get back up and we go, what are the lessons I'm going to learn? What are the lessons that I'm going to take into this and move forward without allowing our confidence, our identity, our worth, our desperation to come into this factor? Because I truly think we can deal with failure so much better when we are not attached to outcomes. That is the key. And it's so slight. We don't even realize when we're doing it. You have to let go of outcomes here. And so I just personally believe that it's hey, you know what? You wake up, you do the work, you do inspired, aligned action. You do what you know to do and put your head on the pillow at night knowing, hey, you know what? I really I did this. But then you have to surrender.
Which is hard.
Entrepreneurship is two things. It's two things. Radical ownership and radical surrender. So what that means for me is I'm taking ownership. I've got my whiteboard out. I'm doing the work. I'm showing up. I'm planning. I'm looking at my numbers. And you've got to go, you know what? God knows what's best for me. And he's going to bring me who I need and what I need at the exact time that I need it. And I'll just share a story from from my recent launches. It's kind of like, my signature course, the Passion to Profit Business Academy, which is a 90-day group coaching experience. Like, it's for that beginner entrepreneur that wants to launch their business and really go from hobbyist to confident CEO and do this thing. And so the first go around, I'm like, I want 25 people in this.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I like do the work, and I'm like in it to the last minute during the launch, and 9 people came in. Okay. Which is great, but that ain't 25.
No,
That's not even halfway there.
Yeah.
Okay. So needed, because this is my first time to ever do it. And I realize now, looking back, I would not have been able to handle 25 women.
Yep.
In that group.
I think about that a lot.
There was a retreat at the end. I wouldn't have been able to handle it. And so, I think that this whole deal about success and about failure and confidence is always like, are you really ready? Have you become the energetic match for what it is that you say that you want?
Mm-hmm.
We're all given what we need when we need it, what we're ready for, and I talked about this recently in my money mindset series on my podcast, is that it's kind of like lottery winners, when lottery winners, they win $1 million, but they are not ready to handle that type of money. And so they squander it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with us in our businesses. We have to match what it is that we say that we want. And that can be difficult because it's a place that we've never been to. So I hope that answered your question, but I think it's about knowing your worth and really believing it, doing the work, attaching from outcomes. And I just believe, like, if you're truly passionate about this, like, if this is like in your guts, like, why get back to your why? Like, these little failure, like, this is like stuff that's happening on the internet. Like, this is not a big deal.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's probably the whole, like, letting go of the outcome thing is probably the thing that I struggle with the most when it comes to failure or hitting your goals and all that. Is like knowing, like you said, when you lay down at night and you put your head on the pillow, knowing that you gave it your all. And yes, like, you can show people what they want, but they have to believe. Like, you can show people what's possible, but they have to actually believe that it is possible. And you cannot do that for them as much as we would love to, right? So thank you for saying that. That, like, totally resonated with me. And I know a lot of these women watching are going to be like, yes, I get that. I understand that. It's hard though.
Yeah.
Okay. So self-sabotage. I want to talk about that. So it happens. And sometimes when we are in it, we don't really, like, realize we're in it or we're doing it. So do you have any tips or ideas or ways that we can figure out if we are self-sabotaging?
Yeah. So I think part of being a mature adult is noticed.
Being a mature adult? What?
I think a part. Grow up. Anyway, no. Part of emotional maturity, which, like, let's just be honest here. Not even like mature adult, emotional maturity, which everybody has their own varying degrees of emotional intelligence. Like, we've all been through stuff. Trauma, the stuff of life, stunts us emotionally. And I think awareness, which is the number one predictor. I had a chick on my podcast not long ago, and she basically, like, quoted this study, which I didn't even know about. She was like, yeah, there's this, like, really well-known study that came out, like, the number one predictor of success in high-level CEOs and entrepreneurs is awareness. And yeah. And so awareness is being able to, outside looking in, see your patterns when you're in them, and like, oh, this is coming up again. Oh, like, being an observer of your thoughts, an observer of your behavior. So much of the self-sabotaging is happening on an unconscious, a subconscious level. And awareness is just paying attention, is going, oh, it's interesting how every single time I'm in a launch, I do this same thing. Or it's interesting how I'm always late. Well, it's because you didn't want to be there. It's interesting how this keeps happening. And you notice that I'm saying it's interesting how.
Yes.
because I'm not judging myself. I'm not going, why do you always do this, Lindsey? And I'm not shaming and beating myself up. I'm just going, it's interesting how when I'm almost to the number that I want in my launch, I'm almost to my goal, I'll shrink back a little bit. Or it's interesting how when I am getting a little bit of success, then I get distracted in some drama over here with my friends. Or it's interesting how when this certain thing is happening in my business, then all of a sudden, like me and my husband start fighting. Like
Yeah.
these patterns that we're doing over and over again are there. So the key is awareness and watching yourself without judgment. And then the second thing that I would say is it does always come back to identity. For so many of us, we have a thermostat programmed in our brain for a certain income level or a certain way that our life looks like. I call this a money blueprint. I learned this from T. Harv Eker. He has this book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I'm reading it with my mastermind right now. And he talks about how like we've all been programmed. You know, the thermostat, if you understand how it works, I actually didn't even really understand how a thermostat worked to talk about this book. Is anybody else in a marriage where if they touch the thermostat, their husband is like, oh, like you fight over the thermostat all the time?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I'm always cold. Tears always hot. For sure.
Exactly. Me
Yeah.
too. So, anyways, if you program your thermostat for 70 degrees, you know, or like, and so the way that it works is it's going to adjust to the temperature of the room. Let's say you leave the doors open and it gets super hot or super cold or whatever, that thermostat's going to regulate the temperature. So if you have a thermostat that is set for poverty, if you have a thermostat that's set for insecurity, if you have a thermostat that is set for 6 figures and you want to be at 7 figures, whatever you do, that thermostat is going to regulate you back down to whatever you're set for. And that's your energy level. So like if I'm wanting to earn 7 figures and I'm stuck at 6 figures, there has to be a breakthrough to get out of that thermostat. That looks like self-sabotage. That could look like you spend more than you make, or it can look like you continue to hire team members that aren't a good fit. You start attracting in people that or like maybe a Facebook ads manager that isn't that great. You know, we've all had these experiences where, you know, it's like, God, it's like, I can't get ahead. And I would pay attention to, well, what's your thermostat set for? And what are you dreaming about? And what do we need to do to shift into that new identity? And talk a lot about this with my girls in PPBA. That's Passion Profit Business Academy, not PB&J. That's my initial for it. But I always think it's PB&J.
That's funny. Yeah.
Peanut butter and jelly. But anyways, so like they are so heart-centered. They're many times creative. They're impact driven. So ministry leaders, healers. I've even worked with makeup artists, real estate agents, you know, whatever the technician part is in your business, that's what they identify as. They don't even identify as CEO or entrepreneur.
That's interesting.
You know? So when you start talking about, no, you're a CEO and you're a healer. You're a CEO and you're a ministry leader. You're a CEO and you're a makeup artist. And so we have to shift into this new identity that we are asking for the results that we want. Does that make sense? And there's always this resistance because this old way, this old you that has been earning this much or doing this certain thing, you're in that pattern. You're in that comfort. You're in that rut. And yes, I mean, I'm sure you've heard this quote before. It's like, what it took to get you here isn't going to get you there.
Yeah.
What we're really talking about is your energy shift and your mindset, because strategy is strategy. Like, yeah,
right.
It's the same thing. Emails, like all the stuff is the same, but it's the way that you think and it's the way that you show up in the world. And I think that we self-sabotage because we are afraid the end of the day of what this will require from us.
Because then
Yeah, because then you're more responsible, or we're afraid of the energy that it'll take, or we're afraid of fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nobody in my family has ever earned that much. And what will people think if I really become successful? Will I be able to live up to the pressure? Like all of this stuff happens, that we're afraid to shift into this next level us. We have to start getting comfortable with our power. We have to start getting comfortable with what we were really put on the planet to do and achieve and create. It's that Marianne Williamson quote. She's like, it's not that you fear that you're not enough, it's that you fear that you are powerful beyond measure.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, this is what I believe, and take it or leave it. I just believe that the spirit of God lives in me, like flowing through my veins and in my DNA. Like I was thinking about this yesterday on my bike, on my Peloton bike. And I was like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
what am I doing? Like God lives inside of me. Like go, we are made in the image. Come on.
Yeah.
Like own your power. Like get comfortable with your power. Like it's always, there's always more of it. And so I don't know if that makes sense to anybody listening, but I think we self-sabotage at the end of the day because we are afraid of our power.
Mm-hmm.
And we stop self-sabotaging when we can just surrender and step into that power. Because the reality is we don't step into our power because we're afraid we're not worthy of it, or that we can't handle that power.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think about like if you were to like try to hold on to a lightning bolt or something, or my this is a great analogy. This is so funny. My grandson Zayden, okay, he is a wild child. He is a banshee.
Mm-hmm.
He is the craziest little guy. He has he's crazy. Okay. Listen, I love him to death, but he is wild. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's a wild boy. So I put him in the backyard. My goal when I watch him is to wear him out. I'm like, I want you exhausted and passing out on the floor at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I put him in the backyard. I give him all these toys. I give him a water hose. Okay. And this is his first time with a water hose. It's a perfect example. And so he grabs the water hose, with the, what's it called? It's got the thing on it. The spout,
the spigot.
Sprayer.
Yeah.
So this is a giant water hose. He's 2 years old. And so he starts spraying this water hose and he's like, I mean, it's and then he'll stop and look at it. And then, I mean, it's throwing him all over the yard. Uh-huh. And that example is what I think a lot of times we feel like is what it'll be like. We can't handle it. We're not in control. Mm. If I step into my power, that will feel scary. If I step into my power, if I step into the destiny or the dream or the goal, can I really have that? What will it really require of me? Who will I have to be? What if I don't measure up? What if I can't be that person? Well, what if you just surrendered? What if you just stopped trying to be in control and stepped into it and just said, hey, I'm worthy. This is the next level me. And just let it flow. So I don't know if that helped. That seems a bit abstract, but everyone's journey is different. And I think we stop self-sabotaging when we're not afraid of our power.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like just you saying that to surrender and allow yourself to be that next level you. How much easier does that feel, y'all who are watching? That feels so much easier than saying become the person that you need to become and all that stuff we talk about, right?
I know.
It feels so much easier and attainable and doable when you just surrender and acknowledge, yeah, I am the next level me already.
You are, it's already there inside of you.
Right.
It's just we have to shed, we have to surrender the old layer, So I see in pictures, analogies you guys have gathered. It's like, the Russian dolls. You know how the
Yeah.
nesting dolls, like
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom,
Uh-huh.
kind of what it's like, but they're all inside one another. So like the little doll at the very bottom is in there already, but it requires, the shedding
Mm-hmm.
and the letting go. And that's the best analogy that I can get. You're already in there. That's how we shift to letting who you are come out instead of hustling,
Mm.
striving. I need to be more. I need to become this. Like you already are it. Just let it out and be willing to surrender the old you. And also, I think, just go here for a minute. We have to do this without shame and
Mm.
understand that, like, the old me or like the me that's right now, like I'm always evolving. I'm going to be different 10 years from now, is who I needed in this season to cope or to get through whatever, and that she's just as valuable and worthy too. And she served a purpose in this season, but now it's time for the new. Now it's time for the next. Because I think what a lot of people do, how many times have you seen this? You'll see people like especially on their weight loss journey, they'll like post old pictures of themselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's really sad.
They're like, I want to get back to that. If that's my motivation, I'm like, oh girl, she gone.
No.
She's gone.
Yeah.
You'll
She's
never
not
be
you
her.
anymore.
You'll never be her again.
Mm-hmm.
Or the opposite, like where they'll post before pictures and be like, gross, this was disgusting. Like
Yeah.
this girl. I'm like, no, no, no. She was serving a purpose for whatever reason. And
Mm-hmm.
that's who you were supposed to be at that time. So let's love her. Let's bless and release.
Yeah.
Let's bless and release, because so many times people are like in this transformation, this personal growth journey, this entrepreneur journey, and they're like, and hey, I am not knocking these people. I love and respect all these people, but you can really get into like the high performance habits. I'm a high performer, be more, do more. I've got to like get up at 6 a.m. and have the miracle morning routine.
Yeah.
Like check box, check box, check box, check box, because I've got to become my next level self. I've got to step into that energy. And it's like, you're not loving who you are right now. It's from a place of you're not enough. So you've got to
Oh, yeah.
do all of this other stuff. And does that make sense at all? Does that make sense what I'm saying? It's like we can't go on this journey of personal development and growth and stepping into this next level identity, this new blueprint, this new thermostat, hating who we are or saying who we are right now isn't enough,
Mm-hmm.
or who we are right now is who we needed to be in this season for whatever reason. And it's okay to love her. It's also okay to let her go.
Right. Yes. And I think that's a difference. And I think that's a flaw in the personal development world. And an amazing point you just brought up is you are enough right now. You can always work on things, but like at who you are at the root right now is good and it works and it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's okay to want more if you want more.
Absolutely. I love that quote that says, your new life will cost you your old one.
Yes. I was thinking about
That's
that
the
too.
truth, if there
Mm-hmm.
ever was one, because
Yeah.
old ways won't open new doors. And, you know, it's when it comes down to it, it's just the fear of the unknown. We're like, but
Mm-hmm.
what? I mean, I just recently experienced this. So I've moved here moved to Idaho from Louisiana. We're living a dream that we've been planning for and shooting for 10 years, ever since we got married. And it is surreal. And you sit in it. I sit in this beautiful home. It's like literally like we manifested this home, like all the fit, like down to all of these things that we said that we wanted. And it's here in
Yeah.
Idaho. The mountains. I got up this morning and I looked out, to my left, there's this mountain scene. A little one, because they're building all these houses around me. So I gotta up level this. I gotta get this house in the foothills so there's no houses around me. Anyways, but it's surreal and you're going, wow. But it took me leaving everything I ever knew
Mm.
in Louisiana, all of our friends, all of our contact, our family, everything we've ever known in this small town in Louisiana to step into this. Guys,
That's scary stuff.
it is. There's a sacrifice required. there, but it's worth it. So
that was so good. That was so good. Okay.
we've gotten really deep here. I just wanted to
darn good stuff. Oh, this is so good.
Allison's like my 9, like the 9 like
let me bring you back down.
Yeah. Somebody bring me a blanket.
I have one already.
Oh, look at you. I love it.
I have a blanket at all times.
I know you do.
I think that was plenty. That was amazing. Thank you, Lindsey.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, that was so good. It brought up so many like ideas and thoughts and just experiences, like looking at like things that are going on in your present life, things that have happened in the past, and how those things are informing how you're thinking about things or have informed how you thought about things.
Yeah.
How they've all shaped you. It's really interesting. So thank you.
You're welcome. I wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah, let's hear it.
This is a concept. You guys are getting first access to it. This is a concept that I've been thinking about a lot because I think part of being a coach is just looking at patterns and saying, it's interesting this is happening. What are your thoughts? And showing people their patterns. And I've even noticed this in my life when we talk about self-sabotaging. And really again, guys, all self-sabotaging is your thermostat trying to regulate you to what it's been set for. So if you want to stop self-sabotaging, you need to reprogram the thermostat. We do that by the thoughts and beliefs that we think. Okay. So, but one thing that I've noticed with us gals, if you're in a mastermind, you probably have experienced some level of success, or like you're not like sitting on the couch eating bonbons.
Right. You're good.
You're with it. You're not afraid of work. You're doing it. But what I have seen is something that I call high level hiding. High level hiding. And it's basically where you do a little, you're on the edge. Like you do the work because you're supposed to do the work, but there's still a part of you that's holding back. High level hiding. So I'll see women do this and I'm like, no. Like, okay. So for example, you are hiding behind that inspirational quote post.
You're not saying what you really truly think. Is that what you're going? Okay.
Yeah. Or you're not, because if you're vulnerable and you share this story, that's going to magnetize clients to you. That's going to show people who you really are, which FYI is our job. Like if you're in a situation right now, and guys, I've been here, like, because I am the girl that people will say like, oh, you're so inspiring. You're so empowering. Yeah, they ain't paying me no money. They ain't signing up. Okay, because I've inspired them and they don't, whatever. So the reason that is because of high level hiding. Yeah, I did the content. Yeah, I'm turning it out, but it's fluff. It was easy. Yeah, I got my content done, or like whatever the situation is. Like, yeah, I got the webinar done. Yeah, I got the, it's like when you turn into like checkbox mode and you're not showing up with your heart, with your gut, with your passion, you're not sharing who you are, because sharing who you are is what's going to get you to that next level. And that can be different for everybody, but everybody knows right now, there are some things that have been in here that you have been afraid to share, that you've been afraid to talk about, that you've wanted to do, but you've held back. And so you hide behind the easy things to post, the easy things to do, or not necessarily easy, but the things that don't require a ton of emotional energy or vulnerability. So, for example, I'll just throw one of my clients under the bus right now. So she's a personal trainer. Okay. So she physically trains people. Okay. And she also has this incredible story of overcoming some really toxic, abusive relationships. And she knows that she's called to talk about it. And she knows that she's called to help other women through it. But do you know what she posts 24/7 on social media?
Workout pictures.
Pictures of food. Pictures of healthy food. Pictures of how many times How many times do we do that? I'm
Yeah.
like, why are you posting a picture of your breakfast?
This is boring.
That was safe. And that's
Yeah.
really the thing. We're doing activity that feels safe, not scary. It's called high level hiding. If you want to step into your next level, stop doing that crap. Post things that you're afraid to post about. Do what you know you've really been called to do. You know, I recently did a Facebook post where I had to just like, I couldn't take it anymore because I had been high level hiding for so long. And guys, you will not feel in integrity. Something will fill up. Something will feel off. If you start to feel like an imposter syndrome, sometimes maybe it's because you actually are.
Yeah.
You are not sharing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
We all are one. Come on. None of us know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But like own that. So like I had to just like have a vulnerability hangover and say, hey, I wonder how many followers I would lose if you knew this about me. And
I saw that post of yours. I probably didn't comment on it.
Went on a diatribe about it. Highest engaging post.
Mm-hmm. It was a very good post. That's why.
of the year. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I should have done that 6 months ago because that's all the things that I was feeling and experiencing. And so I think the deal is with self-sabotage and failure and confidence, all of that, you need to look at where you are high level hiding. And when you, especially in your content, because your content should be either attracting or repelling. It's magnetizing, you know? And so what about you is magnetizing? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that's one thing that I wanted to say is don't high level hide, be willing to share. Don't be willing to do the things that are scary because that's the only way that you will reprogram your thermostat and step into a new identity.
That was phenomenal. Yes. So ladies, challenge to you. Stop high level hiding. Share what you need to share and what you know you need to share. And have a vulnerability hangover.
And I think there's a difference too. Let me say this about vulnerability. Mm-hmm. Is there's a difference between scars and wounds.
Yes. Yes.
Scars, we can share our scars. Mm-hmm. Wounds, I would caution. You know, there's a difference between processing something that's happening right now with your community. You know, you use discernment for that, but I think there's a difference between someone being a hot mess express who's very wounded and wants to be a victim and their feed is just like drama versus someone who's being vulnerable and they're sharing their struggle on the other side. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what I've been through. This is what I've walked through. This is what I did to get back up. I think is what, you know, for me is what vulnerability looks like in the online space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay. Where can we find you online? Because my ladies are going to want to track you down after this.
So podcast, the Passionista podcast, which Allison has been on. Yeah. And I've been on yours. And then Instagram stories. Instagram stories are where I'll be hanging out all the time. I've got a Facebook group, Make Your Passion Pay You. But I would say podcasts and IG stories are where it's at.
Awesome. What's your IG handle?
Just Lindsey Nadler, and it's Lindsey with an E.
An E. Yes. Every time I write you an email, I'm like, it's Lindsey with an E.
Lindsey with an E. Lindsey at Lindsey Nadler.
Awesome. 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 And ladies, I'll put all those links below for us to check out if you're watching on the replay. Lindsey, thank you so much. That was phenomenal.
You're welcome.
All right, ladies, have a great day. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, if you are loving the content you're getting on this podcast and you want to take the next steps to seeing your passion become a profitable reality, then I've got a special invitation for you. The doors to the Passion to Profit Business Academy are opening soon. Now, this only happens twice a year and spots are very limited. So if you are a heart-centered, faith-forward woman who wants to take her dream, side hustle, passion, idea, get it off the ground and start a passion-based business that you love online, then I want to invite you to join me inside of the Passion to Profit Business Academy. This is a 90-day group coaching experience and course that is like nothing else out there in the online space. Trust me, I know. I've spent a lot of money investing in coaching and courses, and I'm creating for you an experience that I would have killed to have when I was first starting out. This year, I'm committed to helping a special group of heart-centered women take the leap and build their passion-based business online. So if you're in a situation right now where you are hungry for more, you know you were meant for more, but you kind of feel like you don't know what you're doing and you need the encouragement and the coaching to help you along the way, then sister, I am your girl. So what I want you to do is go to bit.ly.com, Passion to Profit waitlist, and fill out an application to be considered. Like I said, spots are very limited, and when the doors open, they will go fast. So be sure to head over there and secure your spot today.